Hello. Today I wanted to talk again about my experience cutting Strathmore paper roll 42-inch. So, I don't, well, I do have it. It's kind of a bit of a hassle for me to get it out again. But let me tell you what I learned, right? I tried rolling it the other way. And after I tried rolling it the other way, I waited a couple days, then I wrapped it the other way because they said then it's easier to cut. But I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It is still such a major pain to cut. I mean, it's worth it for me because I have a 12 by 18 drawing board, and I do like to have a large surface area to draw on. That's just my preference, and it's kind of like, even if I have a smaller piece of paper, say like this, I can still put it on my board and I could kind of like move my arm more freely. I also recently got this. I like to clearly see where I'm drawing. Oh, look, bees. But yeah, I realized that before I got this light here, I was kind of just drawing with the awful quality light I have in my room. I think the term for the lighting that I have in my room is called a nipple light, and those are known for having the worst types of lighting that you can get for the way the light distributes, like throughout the room. They're usually known for being a really poor quality lighting environment. So no wonder I used to have so much eye strain because of it. And it's just like it's like attached to my fan, but all throughout where I live, there's just awful lighting. So I tried wrapping my paper the other way, and it still kind of fought me. I think it was a little bit easier to deal with, but I'll be honest with you, the other thing I learned is they tape the paper on both sides to stop it from unraveling, and kind of what I realized is you can't get that tape off without ripping paper off. And it's like when you rip this paper, you can't draw on it anymore. It just kind of, I mean, like, I don't mean to say it. It's like a very small surface area where you do it, but you have to be very careful when you're cutting off that tape. And I have to be honest with you, the tape was so old, it kind of like molded to the surface, so it was even more of a terrible experience of me trying to get it off. So yeah, the thing is, I'm always able to use all of my paper, which is the awesome benefit. Like, I never waste paper. And even to the side over here, you can kind of tell that, like, I always try to use all of my paper that I can. And I don't like to waste things. That's always been my big issue, in which when I was drawing physically, I felt like, oh man, I'm wasting so much paper. But the other thing is, hey, you can recycle paper, so that's always a benefit to it. It's also acid-free. But the problem is, I think most people can probably get away with just having this thing. I think it's 12 by 9 or 9 by 12. It's the same quality paper. It just comes in a thing, so you don't have to spend a bunch of time cutting it. And I have to tell you, I really do like this paper. I mean, I know I kind of advised against not, but it's just like, I guess you could say the drawing surface area I have, which is 12 by 18. You know, I hate to say it, I think it was like a Atlas Springer 12 by 18 board, but they stopped manufacturing it. And I'm like, why would they stop manufacturing it? This is like the best drawing board. It's literally just like a whatever, I don't know if it's like cork board. I love it. I have to say, it's like not too big, not too small, perfect drawing area. I use it every day of my life, and it's just one of those things that, like, it's kind of weird, because initially when I got it, I really didn't appreciate it, but I guess you could say it was more because I lacked the drawing experience I had. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about is, if I can pull out my toolkit, I have a bunch of tools I use to cut paper. Well, really only two. And over time, I have learned... Sorry, I'm just trying to move some paper. I learned that... Okay, well, that's not cool. I learned that I had a rotary cutter I was using. So it's, the drawing roll is like, well, 42 inches long, so you could, depending on how much paper you have left, you can determine what to cut. And pretty much I use one of my 1mm mechanical pencils to mark the areas for where I want to cut, and then I cut it. And since my board is 12 by 18, I usually get about, I can't do the math in my head, but about 2 pieces of 18 and then a little bit of a smaller cut, but it doesn't really matter because the way I have it all on my board, it makes it super convenient for me and not annoying. I also stack up my paper because the other important thing is you always want to be drawing on a thick stack of paper so that the underside of the board doesn't mess with your drawing, because if you just draw on one piece of paper, it could sometimes make the texture below show through, and it could kind of mess up when you're drawing because you're kind of facing the surface. But I'll be honest with you, this paper is just so thick, I don't even know if I would have that problem. But yeah, the other thing I realized is after I marked the paper, I was originally using a rotary cutter, but I stopped because I realized just a normal pair of scissors, as long as I follow the lines that I drew to cut on them, a normal pair of scissors is more than enough. Granted, sometimes when the paper is rolling, you kind of fight it a little bit, which isn't all that bad. Oh, just to tell you, I also have one of these rollers. I may have just... it had some identifying information. Not that I care where people know where I live, but the thing I'm trying to say is I have one of these like retractable rollers to mark on paper the dimensions, but I really have been thinking about getting a 12 by 12 or 12 by 9 square edge, because I think if I use a square edge, it would kind of help weigh everything down, because sometimes I do fight the paper rolling on me, and I have a piece of wood and another 42-inch metal roller that helps constrain it, but like I kind of work in a limited area, so it's always a bit annoying. And then the last thing that I do, okay, after you're done cutting the paper into the dimensions that you want, it keeps rolling for quite some time, which is incredibly annoying. But the solution is you find something heavy, and I have a box, so I just put all of my paper under this box, and I'm gonna let it wait a couple days until it will eventually stay flat. And then usually if I just keep it on my drawing board, it will stay flat. Like over time it does break and it won't roll anymore. So that is the cool thing about it. And usually paper only, like when it's rolling, you could draw on it immediately as long as you don't place it up facing the rolling way. Like you see this paper now, like if I put that on the board this way, it would still curl. That's just because it was in its roll form for so long. But if I would put it on the board now, it would probably remain flat, considering I have my, is it Vecchia? My Vecchia clamp. And that thing I have right there, it's Vecchia... I think it's like for people who are reading like sheet music, but I have to tell you, it works perfectly for my drawing board. I highly recommend it. I think the only thing they say is make sure you don't look directly to light because it's so bright. Although when I use it, it's bright enough for me on the first setting, which is the least brightest. I used to have another Vecchia that was smaller, but it didn't cast enough light on my drawing surface, so I kind of stopped using it. You don't have to use a lamp like that. You could even have like another lamp in your room that has really good lighting, but just be aware, work in a good lighting environment, and if you don't want to annoy yourself with that, I do highly recommend this Bristol. It's literally the same paper. I think it is the 350 series as well. I mean, it's the same super smooth surface. Like, it feels the same to me compared to this stuff. I'm pretty sure it is the same. It's a Bristol smooth surface. That's, oh yeah, Series 300. Yeah, so that was, I don't know why I said 350, but I know it's the 300 series. That is like the most smooth surface that they have. But yeah, I hope this video gives a little information about my process. It's I feel like whenever I do cut paper, I still kind of have to use my whole body to stop it from rolling, no matter how many different points I use to constrain it between two places. So like, do be aware that you're gonna probably lose like a half hour to an hour's worth of time if you want to cut a bunch of paper. I mean, it is worth it in the end, but it's like, it's annoying to me. So I will say the one thing I do, I have wireless earbuds. So like I'll listen to like a podcast or something when I'm cutting paper because of the massive time sink. I'm like, okay, I'm at least going to try to enjoy this when I'm cutting paper for an hour. But yeah, do be aware that you're going to lose time when you're cutting the paper roll. or you could get that instead. But, the only downside to that is you won't be able to have the largest drawing surface area if you do have a 12 by 18 board like me. Usually the other boards they make are not that big, but yeah, I hope this video helps. If you like my channel, please like it. If you like my channel, if you like it, please subscribe. And if you have a question, please ask in the comments. Thank you. Bye. Oh yeah, and you could find this Strathmore Bristol at like, I think either Dick Blick or, what's the other store? There's another store that you can get this, all of this paper stuff. But yeah, it's always cheaper if you go through that rather than other websites, which is surprising. You could even get it locally, I believe. But yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.